The pursuit of perfection.
The ethos is kind of 3 flavours on a plate.
A taste of tradition.
The smell of bread is so inviting.
The search for the freshest ingredients.
Here you go.
Beautiful.
This is Feast on Dubai. Something's cooking in Dubai. With sizzling pans and fired up grills come the smoke signals that lunchtime is approaching. It's Taste of Dubai, a highlight on the city's foodie calendar.
The anchor of the event is the local restaurant scene, but we like to bring in an international flavour as well. We have chefs from all across the world.
What I love about Dubai is it's constantly evolving and changing. It's hungry to set the pace and tone for something innovative. There's something for everybody who loves food.
There's always someone new. It's just a really nice event that lasts 3 days every year.
It showed you how the food scene is starting to develop here. And also a lot more of the restaurants and more homegrown concepts as well, which is good. It's good.
For the Matar Farm, we are an artisan smokehouse. We've made such headway with introducing our local brand on a grassroots level. Local and homegrown brands with stories, with people that you can connect to. People have been embracing that in a really big way.
The culinary landscape of Dubai tells the story of a city at the crossroads between East and West. A melting pot of cultures and cuisines from all corners of the globe.
What Dubai was probably when I first came in '93 and the Dubai I know are totally different. There's a lot of diversity here within Dubai, and I think that is the charm of the city.
With restaurants all over the world, star chef Vineet Bhatia is known as the godfather of modern Indian cuisine. A culinary maverick, the chef was the first to introduce Indian fine dining to the desert city.
2005 in June, Indigo opened up, and everybody said, it's not going to work, it's a 5-star hotel, it's fine food, and nobody's going to like it. 15 years, we're still here. We're still strong. I think that is a result of something which you have put so much effort and love into, and it's a joy to create restaurants, to create recipes.
From fine dining at Indigo to the more casual fare on offer at his latest venture, India. Bhatia dishes up flavours that evoke memories of a childhood spent in his home country.
For me, restaurants are all about escapism. You go to restaurants to enjoy a great meal, and what you take back are a few certain memories which are remaining etched for you forever, and you come back for those. We always say, if you look at a food, it's very international. But if you eat my cuisine with your eyes closed, it's India on your palate.
A tempting offering for Dubai, a city where Indian food has been part of the culinary landscape for decades.
We have taken the local influence around us. So we have a chicken tikka, but we flavor that with za'atar. For the Arab culture and the Indian culture, there is so much which resonates and comes together, and it overlaps a lot.
These similarities can be traced through the region's trading past. When wooden dhows sailed in carrying fabrics and spices, and the common currency was the Indian rupee.
The trading was all done here, but you still find the boats coming and going. But look at that. When people travel and come into different places, they also carry the food with them, they carry the culture with them. And because of the proximity of India and UAE, you get practically all the spices you can ever think of. This is where it all begins. The spice journey starts there. It's Aladdin's cave. Right from the spices to the fabric, the culture, everything is there. This is something which I always love to the souk and have a look at, are the dried rose buds. We dry these buds We make it into powder and put them into biryanis, and that's pretty delicious. If you go down to the old parts of Dubai, for all the people who were there were basically traders. That was their neighborhood. That's where all the Emiratis and the Indians lived together. The smell of bread is so inviting. You know, you pass by the old streets of Dubai and look at the gem of a place you find, Kapisa Bakery. And I've asked him to make me a piece of bread. Oh, look at that. It's piping hot. Oh, nothing like having hot, warm, freshly baked bread. Absolutely divine. MashaAllah. Aap bhi khao.
Khao.
That's the way you share love, is through food.
Indian migrants make up the highest number of foreign expats in the UAE, and nearly 30% of the entire population. The oldest restaurant in the city, Joshi, carries the name of the family who founded it back in 1968. And they have been feeding the local community ever since.
Yogesh ji, namaskar. Kaise hain aap? This place is quite special because they have created something very unique and very distinct from other people around town. And these are predominantly from the western part of India, right from Gujarat, the Kutch and Mumbai. This is something very, very special. This is called as the fafda. Can I have one? Yeah. The gram flour with some cumin in them, some carom seeds, and they roll the dough out and they cut it into strips and they deep fry it. Okay, here is my acid test. So I'm going to have a chili and to taste. Oh, nice. Not spicy, but flavorful. Oh, it kicks you now.
While the shop attracts passers-by with a soft spot for snacks on the go, the main attraction, only a short walk away, is for those with a healthy appetite. Mr. Yogesh Joshi leads the way.
Thank you for having us in your beautiful, beautiful shop. It already smells so nice.
The owner, Kalku Miraj, is Yogesh's older brother. This is very much a family affair.
So 51 years the shop has been here, and his brother opened the shop and he's come and joined his brother. And the younger brother of the lot, he came in 27 years back. So this place is like an institution and it's been feeding people with a very good heart. And that's why, you know, it's been consistent. 51 years is a long time.
Yoshi's secret lies in its vegetarian thalis, which over the years have attracted a host of loyal customers. Vineet feels right at home.
Can I quickly go have a look at the kitchen? Yeah. Thank you. So that's where they make all the breads here. There's the whole wheat flour breads. So it's thin breads, rolled it out and onto the plancha. And that's how it works. It's very nice and light. Now this seems to be the place where they make all the stuff for the confectionery, the display. And all the lunch thalis, all the snack, all the farsan. Indian cuisine is so deep, it is so vast. You know, it's an endless pot. The beauty of Indian food is that there is so much around you happening, but when it comes onto the plate, it comes together. That one of my favorites is the jalebis. I've grown up as a kid having this all my life. They have spirals. They're just rounds. It's batter which has been deep fried and then soaked into sugar syrup. If you don't like sugar, don't come here. But for me, I don't have a sweet tooth, I have a set of sweet teeth. I love my sweets. I love sweets. It's a constant journey. You're always learning something. You're always discovering something. I think that is the beauty of this land here. The flavors. And sometimes we forget. And we need to go back and taste. Nice. Thank you. Fantastic. This is going to be my feast today. A thali is basically an assortment of all the goodness you can ever get. We have lentils, we have a pulao, and we have cauliflower and potatoes. And you can't do a good thali without a piece of green chili. So, time to tuck in. Oh, that's got a very good tang to it. It's got a nice chili flavor to it. But the joy of tucking into simple, wholesome food is just gorgeous. Beautiful.
2 years ago, Nick and I, we created the restaurant from nothing. It was maybe 6 or 7 years of working in the city. We'd grown with the restaurant scene here.
And then we found Folly and pretty much fell in love with the space.
For British chefs Nick Alvis and Scott Price, running a restaurant is a labour of love. Hailed as Dubai's homegrown success, they moved to the city a decade ago, after honing their craft in the Michelin-starred kitchens of celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay.
We both met in his kitchen and had our own ideas. That was the training. That was like the training camp.
I worked for Gordon for 8 years, and having that name above the door, we don't realise at the time, but all of a sudden it's gone. And we've had to work hard over the last 6, 7 years to really develop our own reputation, if you like.
Yeah, send the crab and the egg.
Yeah. Come on, where's the foie gras garnish?
Their training shines through in the kitchen, which is run with military precision.
How long mackerel, duck tartare?
And on the plate, simplicity seems to be the order of the day.
Clean, clear flavours, freshness. Our dishes are unique.
We've developed our own food style in the city while the city's been developing, and it's evolved a lot.
Let's go 2 bream, 1 beef, 1 cod.
All right, go. It's not complicated food. The ethos is kind of 3 flavours on a plate.
A formula whose success rests on fresh, high-quality ingredients. Nick and Scott have joined the ranks of local chefs who are keen to explore more sustainable food sources.
The longer that we've been here, there's a little bit more of the local produce coming through.
We try and source anything local instead of just taking the easy option and ordering everything from Europe.
And for that, the chefs don't have to travel far. Nick and Scott are off to Fujairah, an emirate just 2 hours from Dubai, to visit the first oyster farm in the region.
We're really looking forward to going and see how it works. Chefs demand better produce, and I don't think that was there 10 years ago.
For centuries, the Gulf was home to pearl oysters, which fueled a trade that has all but died out. Today, a new type of oyster, the edible kind, is thriving in these waters, thanks to an expat with a penchant for shellfish.
Originally, I was actually trying to launch a lobster farm. That turned out to be much more complicated than I realized. After some time, we decided to try out some different species and see what would work. Nobody had done it here before, but I realized that oysters actually can survive in this temperature range.
Every month, Raymi delivers around 30,000 oysters to 20 restaurants across the UAE.
You made it. Welcome to Dibba.
How you doing, all right?
Well,
Good to see you.
good trip.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming out.
Nick and Scott get their first glimpse of the process.
This is where we actually grade them from market.
Where do the babies come from?
We buy them from commercial hatcheries from all over the world. 90% of the world's farmed oysters are all this same species, which is the Pacific cupped oyster. Because oysters are filter feeders, they very much take on the characteristics of the local environment. Our oysters, do you see how white they are? That's because of the high calcite levels in the water here. And that's also why traditionally you get very high quality white pearls from oysters in this region. These guys, you see, they're quite dirty, they're quite muddy. So they've been out in the ocean for about a month. Because of the temperature of the water, the oysters grow like 5 to 10 times faster than they do anywhere else in the world, but everything else does as well. I adore bringing chefs out here. You think of oysters as quite glamorous, but the farming is quite kind of down and dirty. It's great being able to show people exactly the amount of work that goes into it. If you've got one large oyster and a bunch of smaller ones, the big one will grow exponentially, the smaller ones don't grow. So they get separated by weight, by size out here. They'll get rebagged into lanterns, sent back to the farm.
The journey to the farm is a 20-minute boat ride and follows a pristine stretch of coastline.
I think it's a turtle.
A site popular amongst divers, it offers perfect conditions for farming oysters.
It's always good to see somebody that's passionate about something. You know, he's taken a big risk to do that because there was no guarantee it was going to work.
Okay, so here we are at the farm. We're about 500 meters offshore, and here you can see the lines.
Dotting Dibba Bay's 3-hectare farm are surface buoys, each marking the nets sitting 5 meters below.
Why did you choose this area?
We wanted this depth of water, which is about 10 to 15 meters. In the summer, we sink them down a bit further as well to sort of take advantage of the slightly cooler water.
At any given time, there are about 1 million oysters at various stages of growth.
We get incredible growth with the oysters, and that's down to the heat, and it's down to the abundance of food in the water. We're the only farm along the coastline, so they're not competing for food. What we're very proud of is the meat content that we have. Even in these little young oysters, they're full of meat. Fresh as they come. Here you go.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Lovely.
It's good that we can finally start working with the guy and showcase their produce and be proud of, look, it's not flown in anywhere, it's 2 hours by car and that's it. So it's really good.
Customers want to know where their food's coming from. So it's really great being able to communicate that story to the chefs, and then they pass that on to the consumers.
In the heart of Dubai, a slice of rural life. This is Matta Farm, an unusual site in one of the city's residential neighbourhoods.
The backyard kind of started as an effort to keep Tamara and Hannah, my youngest daughters, engaged in stuff that you don't really have in this part of the world. The ability to get dirty, climb trees, get out and about, to be involved in the outdoors. One. Okay, I'm gonna put it on my shirt.
For Hatem Matar, this garden offered fertile ground for a culinary passion.
Go.
The ubiquitous barbecues offer a clue. Hatem is Dubai's own pitmaster.
When I had smoked brisket for the first time, I was in Houston. I was like, first of all, where has this been all my life? And then second of all, I said, I'd like to make this at home.
3 years later, Matta Farm specialises in handcrafted, Texan-style barbecue meat.
We've got rock salt. We've got black peppercorns and coriander seeds. We've got mustard seed. We've got cumin seed.
And while the technique is rooted in the American South, the spice blend pays homage to Hatem's Middle Eastern heritage.
Being Egyptian, growing up here, our spices aren't just salt and pepper. I've got business partners from Sudan, I've got business partners from Syria, and each of us is included in our ingredients list.
When it comes to smoking meat, the rule is low and slow. Brisket is cooked at a low temperature over several hours to yield that tender, melt-in-your-mouth taste the delicacy is known for.
Smoked food is a labor of love. It's 18 hours of just the smoking. Prior to that, you're talking 3 or 4 days worth of prep. When we started, we were the first people to do what we do. We still are the only people that still make everything by hand. All right, sandwich is coming up.
Matta Farm has grown from strength to strength, as Hatem's smoked brisket has earned him a cult following,
What you see on top there is called the bark.
giving him the opportunity to spread the gospel of Texan barbecue across the UAE.
This is the famous brisket jiggle. If your brisket jiggles, then you've got good brisket. Every time I see somebody react to our brisket, it makes me feel very proud
It's very good.
that we were kind of fly-by-night, ragtag cuisine, but is loved and appreciated by everybody from, you know, the best chefs to the layman, I'm always very proud.
Hatton will share his brisket at a special gathering, taking place at Restaurant Folly. A feast for the chefs and artisans we have met on this journey. Each guest will bring a dish of their own. So hosts Nick and Scott are whipping up sweet treats for the end of the meal.
We're going to do dessert sharing board. Everybody can tuck in and try the different desserts.
Just got a bit of candied ginger on top of the ginger sorbet.
But starting things off, it's Rami with his freshly farmed oysters from Dibba Bay.
Simplicity is best with oysters, I believe. We're going to serve them raw. We're going to have chopped shallot with red wine vinegar. It's a great way to kick off a meal.
Alongside Nick, Scott, Rami and Hartem are Vineet Bhatia and his wife and business partner Rashima.
And the show begins.
Voila.
So I would recommend having one with the vinaigrette and then one with the lemon if you fancy trying something a little bit different.
Oh, that's fantastic.
In this celebration of Dubai's culinary diversity, Vineet has dished up a taste of India. Crispy vegetable samosas and aromatic chicken biryani.
It cooks for 2 hours in the oven, and we flavor the rice with saffron. Bon appetit.
Very nice.
When I cook from my heart. And I like to show love for people through my cuisine. The more I share, the more I enjoy it.
Now it's Hatem's turn to share his signature dish.
Guys, this is the brisket of my eye. I'm gonna cut some up and you guys tell me what you think.
Oh, look at that. It's like butter.
Yeah. Everybody enjoys a good meal, regardless of where you're from. This is bringing people together. This is crossing borders. This is 8 different cultures on a plate.
Impassioned chefs and food lovers, brought together by their shared knowledge of the local cuisine and good old-fashioned hospitality.
I mean, this is home for most of us.
100%.
And this is what we do out of love and care and passion. We like to feed. We like to give good food. Food is one thing that brings people together onto a table.
To sit at a table where pretty much everything is from the local area is
Yeah.
something that 10 years ago I didn't think we could possibly get to.
Here's to homegrown.